Hello, everyone. Welcome to the class of E-Plan and Electrical Control Technology. In the previous course, we designed the control system of the three-stage conveyor belt according to the process requirements, including electrical schematic diagram and equipment selection, according to the usual practice. Next, we need to draw an electrical schematic diagram with E-Plan. Have you noticed that when drawing the diagram, you will repeatedly use some graphics, such as direct starting, forward and reverse rotation starting, star delta starting, and other circuits in the main circuit control of motors? If these graphics are to be redrawn each time when they are used, it will inevitably reduce the work efficiency. So, can we use existing circuits for rapid drawing and reduce repeated design time? E-Plan's macros and macro variables technology provides the possibility for this. In this chapter, I will focus on explaining the concept of macros, types of macros, and how to create macros. To put it simply, macro is to quickly save and generate typical circuits with a certain typical name after drawing some circuits that are often reused, so as to call them repeatedly in the future, thus achieving twice the result with half the effort and improving the drawing efficiency. There are three types of macros in E-Plan, namely window macro, symbol macro, and page macro. Among them, the window macro is the smallest partial standard circuit, which can contain single-line or M-line devices on a region or page. The window macro can be a standard circuit of the whole page, but not more than one page at most. The file name extension is *.ema. Symbol macro is similar to window macro. The concept of symbol macros is set to adapt to the usage habits of frequent users, since symbol macro is called in the old version of E-Plan. The file name extension of the symbol macro is *.ems, and a standard circuit can be managed as a symbol. The last one is page macro, which contains one or more pages of project drawings with the file name extension of *.emp. To facilitate management, it is generally recommended to create macros with window macros. Next, we will create a window macro for the main circuit of motor. The specific operation steps are as follows. Open and select the Draw Graph. Click Edit in the menu bar. Select Create Window Macro and Symbol Macro. Or right-click after selecting the graph to select Create Window Macro and Symbol Macro. In the pop-up Save As dialog box, create a descriptive file for the macro, main circuit of motor. Through extension followed, modify the save path of the macro as the macro file on computer desktop. Click Save. Select the M-line schematic diagram for the expression type. The variable default is A, and fill in the description of the graphic content of the macro file. Direct starting. Click Addition at the bottom left to define a datum point that will be used as an insertion point when calling the graphic next time. After clicking OK, we return to the computer desktop and find the macro folder. At this time, you can find that a window macro file with a name extension of *.ems is created. To call the window macro file, you can click Insert Window Macro and Graphic Macro Files in the menu bar. or right-click the mouse directly in the blank area of the graph to select Insert Window Macro File. Find the storage path of the window macro in the pop-up dialog box. Click Open and drag the mouse to put the window macro file to a suitable position in the graph, and click OK. Several standard circuits can be stored in a macro file, and each circuit is called a variable. In ePlan, a macro file usually contains 16 variables from A to P. Therefore, multiple variables can be created under the window macro of main circuit of motor, including main circuits of motor in various control forms. When placing these circuits, the Tab key can be used to switch multiple variables. It should be noted that macro variables are different from symbol variables. Symbol variables change different aspects of the same symbol, but macro variables represent different circuits. Just now, we created a variable, A, under the macro of main circuit of motor, that is, direct starting. Next, we will add another variable, B, to the main circuit of motor, that is, forward and reverse rotation starting. The specific operation steps are as follows. Select the drawn main circuit of motor forward and reverse rotation control. Right-click to select Create Macro File. Take the previous default setting for directory, file name, and expression type in the Save As dialog box, modify the variable to B, and fill in forward and reverse rotation starting at the description. Click Define Reference Point, and then click OK to complete the creation of macro variable B of main circuit of motor. Next, we add star delta starting as variable C under the macro file of main circuit of motor in the same way. After the three variables are created, they can be inserted into the graph for later use as required. The specific operation is as follows. Create a new macro file page. Double-click the page. Right-click in the drawing area to select Insert Window Macro File. Select Main Circuit of Motor for the file name and variable A. Click Open. Insert it at an appropriate position in the graph and click OK. Next, press the Tab key on the keyboard to modify the variable into B. Click Insert. Then continue to press the Tab key to modify the variable into C and click Insert. Of course, we can also directly insert the macro file to modify the name of the variable. The specific operation method is as follows. Right-click the mouse to select Insert Window Macro File. Select B as the variable. Click Open, insert the file, and click OK. Right-click Insert Window Macro File. Select C as the variable, open it, and insert the file, and click OK. These two methods of inserting macro file can be selected according to your own preferences. Finally, please use macro technology to draw the schematic diagram of main circuit of this project. First, create a main circuit page. Insert the created macro file of main circuit of motor in the drawing area. Select variable A. Click Open, insert 3 consecutive times at the appropriate position of the drawing, then delete redundant symbols in the graphic. And finally, insert ladder node and breakpoints to complete the main circuit. Dear class, in this lesson, we focused on macro and macro variable technology. Through learning, we know that in the design process, some circuits and typical circuits that are often used repeatedly can be saved as macro files or macro variables for future repeated calls. In daily design work, creating and applying a large number of macros can effectively reduce the time of repeated design and greatly improve production efficiency. Do you get it? That's all for this class. See you next time.